Okay, welcome to the weekly market review. We started with the usual stuff we like to look at. Let's move this down here so it's not hindering anything. I'm going to start with Dixie as usual, and I'm going to really move very quickly today. Right. Okay, so Dixie on the daily, we've got this beautiful green candle here. There's some selling pressure at the top. Uh, and then if we look at the weekly is still red. MACD is still positive to a degree. If you look at MACD, still positive. Um, your stochastic is starting to rise. This could be the lower low where your RSI is higher, and because you can see here, uh, no, we can just make it bigger. That's the low of the other side. Here, that's the low. As you can see here, the low point, we've gone lower, RSI is still higher. We've gone lower again, RSI is still higher. If I bring it to 4 hours and have a look on 4 hours and look at the actual chart, you can see that we've gone lower. We've come back to retest and we've got this bullish candle with a good volume on it. We've kind of eaten back into some of it. And I think there's a potential for this to continue to creep up. The only reason why I say that is on the daily chart. I think it's on a weekly chart. On the weekly chart, we've got a dead cross incoming, and normally with dead crosses incoming, you tend to kind of rally the other way first. So, I think there's a mini rally to maybe here, somewhere around the 101 area. Um, but there is still some more falling to come, I think, on the dollar. I think there's still some more falling. If we bring up like the monthly chart, you can see there's still some more falling. I mean, the month is not finished, but this big candle has been exceeded, which is great. So I think it depends on how the month goes, but I have some pink candles which I track for my area of interest, and I got one somewhere here on the daily chart. So there's one here on the daily chart which I'm expecting to be exceeded. So I don't think that the fall is over yet. I think there will be more downside on the dollar, and I think it's here. So if we go here, so there's an area of interest here, somewhere here. Let's change this. Somewhere here, there's an area of interest for me. So I think there's still some more downside, not finished, but we could get a really good bounce into next week before the collapse actually happens. So that's what I'm looking at on the dollar. I think a potential move to the upside, little bit of a move to the upside. We can move this box slightly to somewhere here. We get such a move, and then, into the week. Let's look at it on the weekly scale. Yeah. So we get a move here, and I'll extend it all the way to the top here. Somewhere in here, I think we might touch before we kind of go down some more. So that's what I'm tracking. That's the dollar. Uh, GBP USD, I'm only adding this one because there's a beautiful trade here which I'm tracking. So you can see here that, we've done our top, here. We've done one top there. We've gone higher. Then we've gone higher again. All the while, you can see that your MACD is the MACD, the MACD is starting to tick down here. The stochastic is ticking down, and the volume is really tailing off, very tiny volumes. Since we had this good volume coming on the 14th of April, we don't really have any meaningful volume coming. So um, it's just tiny, tiny volume. So I think this one, it could go up slightly. And I think, that's why I go 13640 as an area that it could touch. So we could touch that before we come down. But I think this one has some falling to do. Uh, if we go on the monthly chart, you can see each time you have these green candles, you have to start looking. If it is not followed by another one, then there's a concern in terms of the move stalling. So that's what I'm watching at the moment. But like I was saying, we could go up slightly first before we kind of come back down into somewhere here. This zone will become an area of interest for me. So Uh, that's GBP USD. Let's move on to Nasdaq. Nasdaq on the weekly chart, we closed, I think, red. So red, we closed red with some sell pressure at the top. So I would expect this to come back down. I think I would expect some more downside on the Nasdaq. If I take it to 4 hours to see what was going on there, there's a pink candle. So we're forming the pink candle, and mostly with this, we tend to go lower first. You tend to go lower, like here. You tend to go lower and then reverse. So we might just come slightly lower and reverse. So Nasdaq will have a bit of a fall first before continuation. So we may end up coming to this zone. We may have come into somewhere around this zone here to form like a double bottom here and then continue the journey to the upside. So that's the Nasdaq. Uh, and the XPX is very similar as well. XPX, we closed the week triple red, so red candle. And if you take it down to the 4 hours, we have a red candle. This pink candle here will be exceeded. So I expect this to come somewhere here first. Initially, I'd expect us to get ourselves somewhere here um, next week. So I expect some more downside. And let's move on to gold. Gold, we had this selling volume and then we tried to go up. We couldn't. Gold has got it's got some interest candles that I'm looking for. This 3377, 3378. So this one even hasn't been exceeded. So that is an interest candle for me. If I go to the daily chart, we can see that we have a bright green candle which has been formed. So chances are we go slightly higher first. So I'd expect this to go high and then collapse. So that's what, maybe do a double top or go actually into the wick somehow and then collapse. So gold will have some, I think, a bit of momentum to the upside uh, next week and then collapse would be what I expect. So because if I go into 12 hours, for example, we've gone higher and then the daily, we have this candle here. So, and if I go to 15 or 1 hour, kind of creeping up, we are creeping up 2 hours. Yeah, so we'll creep up a little bit, maybe do a double top. So there's a bit of upside first, but the move is getting exhausted. As you can see, here. Look at the MACD, and normally this is the final kind of coffin, really. So we may end up just maybe going up slightly to maybe do a double top, something like that, and then we have to collapse. So there's not a lot left on this move on gold, I think, but you have to err on the side of caution that it could go all the way to do a double top. So if you're going to short, then manage your proportions accordingly. Um, that's gold. I will just quickly touch on Bitcoin dominance. So oh, this is a messy chart. I need to probably let me turn my thing off. Okay, so that's a bit clean. Good. So for me, I think Bitcoin dominance, I am tracking this on a month, and I think we've got this selling candle, big volume, and I think we'll go below it before, even if we're going to go up, we'll go up. The best case scenario, do a double top, and we can continue coming down. If I step into the weekly chart, you can see these tiny, tiny, tiny candles. MACD is going down, down, down. The volume is reasonable, but there's a lot of divergences between here and there, and now we're trying to go up. So could be a lower high. We could have a lower high or a double top or slightly higher high and then collapse. I think in June, this chart, we should have a correction back to say the yellow line or even here, back down somewhere around here. It's possible. So I'm seeing weakness in the dominance chart, which I think will definitely play out this June before the month closes. I think we'll have kind of like a return back on this one. So That's what I'm seeing on Bitcoin dominance. And let's quickly look at Bitcoin. This is too messy. Let me use this one actually. So this is something that I'm following and I'm tracking. So you can see that when we did this move right here, from this peak here, all the way from this peak to the top was 65%. And it was after we had a golden cross on the daily chart. So we had a daily cross on the daily chart. So we had that beautiful move after after the golden cross. That's what happened. We've had our golden cross. So if I do the same calculation, I would expect this to do another 65%. So that takes us all the way to about 145,000, 146K would be what I would expect. So I'm not expecting this thing to collapse and come back down to lower levels. I think the worst case scenario, you might see about 95,000, and then we continue going up back to those levels. There's a high chance, I think, that, this 50-day moving, we come and test it again here and get support and keep going up. Let's take it to 4 hours and see what's going on there. So 4 hours, we've had this selling candle. We've gone up. We're coming back into it. We've had this beautiful volume coming to the market, and we're now going below it. So let's see what the next 4 hour candle is. I mean, there's a small chance that actually, yes, we exceed this candle and come and take some of the liquidity which is sitting here. So we could end up coming back to 101K, something like that, before going up. But there's a lot of liquidity also sitting at the top here. There's plenty of liquidity sitting at the top here. Plenty of people have taken shots of the back here of this 110,000 at this point here, at this point here, and they are sitting really cushy. And I think they'll come for it. They'll come for some of that. If we bring the liquidation heat map on, say, Bitcoin, you'll see that we have a lot of liquidity sitting here, plenty of it. There is still some liquidity also here as well, which they can take for. This is why I'm saying we could go all the way to 101K because uh, if you look at here, 101K will bring us back here, and that is normal. That is okay, and that would have exceeded this candle as well. So I'm watching for that, and then after that we go up. So potential pullback to somewhere here. Uh, if I just get maybe an interest candle, if I put this somewhere here, yeah, somewhere there, I think we'll probably hit that, and then we'll keep going up. So that's Bitcoin. That's Bitcoin, and then I want to quickly touch on tier. So let's look at the tier BTC chart. So let's go to the daily and go and have a look. Let's start with actually the weekly. So we've been going down and down and down, and we've got, so we don't have any RSI divergences yet. We have stochastic RSI divergence in play here to there. So that is giving us a positive picture. The week is not ended, so difficult to tell. But if we step into the daily chart, we can see there's a lot of divergences here. So from here, and if I just measure it, here is 2611, and here is 2598. So we've gone lower on RSI, and we've gone lower again, but now RSI is higher. So it depends on how this day's candle close. If we close positively green back in the KC channel, then that might be the end of it. Otherwise, we'll go down one more time to exceed this candle, and we exceed this candle, and then we can go up. So if you get something like this here, that'd be great. That's a divergence, and then we go up. So, but if I bring it to 4 hours, there seems to be, or even 8 hours, there seems to be a double bottom on it, right here and here. and we're going up. Stochastic is starting to tick up. RSI is pointing up. So let's see. Let's see how it plays out. I think there's a potential for one more zip to the downside on this. Uh, but it's looking really good on this tier BTC chart because this is 166. This is 166. So there's a double bottom on it. So normally you either get a double bottom, lower low, and then you go up. So long as it stays strong against Bitcoin, then it will go up. The USD chart will go up. I think it could come and test this point here, somewhere here. We could come and test the bottom wick of here, which is around 188, and then come back down again, where RSI will still be higher. And then we have our proper move to the upside. But I think, we'll get more tomorrow on this. And if I just have a quick look at the TBTC chart itself, I mean, I've got a mess here. Let's look at this one. Right. And again, you can see we've got some reasonable volume coming, which is great. Pink candle has been exceeded, which is great. If I bring it to the daily, pink candle has been exceeded. And I would like we closed, I think, on the line of the KC channel. No, we closed outside the KC channel. I think it will come back down. I think we potentially will hit around between 5.550 and 5.50 and 60. I think that zone. I think we can expect that. So if we just put it here as somewhere here, I think is where I think price will end up touching. And then we'll be going up some more. So, but so far it's looking good. If you go to 4 hours, you can see it's doing some good work and it's creeping up, it's creeping up. Let's see whether it can creep up and do that top here, touch the top here, 191. And when we get here, if we break it with strong volume, then I think we'll be heading somewhere. So what I want to see is I want to see something like this come somewhere here or something like that come somewhere here. Then I'll get more confidence will be going up. But these tiny, tiny volumes. So that's here. I think, it's looking good, but I think there's one more zip to the downside first before we go. Um, or we might just continue going up. It's possible because of this double bottom, although I'm not too confident of it. Not too confident of this double bottom keep, continue to go up and up and up. So I'm a bit cautious that, we might get zip back down. And then there's also a bit of liquidity also on tier. I think there is quite a bit. There's quite a bit of liquidity here, which is sitting. All this liquidity here is, it's possible. So I think, they can move it all the way even up to $2, 198. Take this liquidity, and you might then get a rundown again. So I'm watching that. I'm watching that very closely. But if we're able to clear here, 225, that's the key point now. Anytime we close above 225, then, chances are we'll continue going up. So I'm watching that as well. I think that's all I've got in terms of these coins that I want to get. Let me look at render quickly. So render, look at it on a daily chart. We do have this pink candle, which tells me we're going to go lower. 326 will be exceeded. I think we'll go lower first and then come up. So you're going to get, it may go up to somewhere here, somewhere there, and then loop back to exceed this and continue going up. Because you've got an incoming dead crosses, and so you rally into the dead cross, and after the dead cross, you dump. So I expect some more downside on this. And then if I even bring the render BTC chart, where is it? Render BTC, yeah. If I bring the render BTC chart again, you can see that we've gone outside the KC channel and the Bollinger Band. So and we're trying to come back in. And normally you come back in, touch somewhere here, and then you loop back again before you keep going up. So there's still some opportunity for render to go down some more. I think that's all I'll look at for today. And tomorrow I'll do a proper altcoins video. So that's all I've got for today, and we'll catch up tomorrow.